Thank you so much for thanks so much for coming on and hanging with us. I don't know what is going on over here. Hold on a minute. All right, so we're going to talk about Joseph Ferlazzo. Joseph Ferlazzo was found guilty of first-degree murder today. The verdict came in shortly before lunch. It was a very, very strange announcement of a verdict. I was in the live chat. We were watching the fire alarm. If you followed the case, you know what I mean. There's always a focus of the court. Most of the times they focus on the seal of the court. Sometimes they focus on a clock. Most of the time it's the seal. In this case, they focused on a fire alarm. And I kind of felt that, well, if they're going to make it so close to lunch, there's two things they do, because I've seen this all the time. They either take the lunch, come back and give the verdict, or sometimes they'll make it so close to lunch, they'll give the verdict right before lunch. I knew it was going to be one of those. It was going to be either right before or right after. Ended up that it was right before. There was no surprise for me on the verdict. In the early part of the day, they watched testimony when Joseph Ferlazzo was on the stand giving testimony. And you could tell they were listening to what he did. And I will tell you that it's so crazy because he said, there were 2 shots fired, right? But they said, what did he get? He said, well, I heard it was like, boom, boom, boom. That's 3, right? And he goes, it was like 2 shots and then she fell. But you have to understand, his testimony is that he hit her with the pillow. They say he put the pillow on her head and fired. She wouldn't be falling on the bed. She would be flat down when he did that. So where's the boom, boom, boom? Right? So there were just so many inconsistencies with his story. The other thing that was a big, big red flag for me is when they asked him, how did you know she had a gun under her pillow? And he said, because I saw it there before. Well, that's not what you would say if she allegedly took this gun from underneath the pillow, pointed it at you, and said, that's it, you're dead. So just think about that scenario happening to you and someone saying, how do you know she had a gun under her pillow? I think the thing that would make an impression on you, you'd say, what do you mean? I saw it when she grabbed it and pointed it at me and said, that's it, you're dead. Okay, that's how you know she had a gun under her pillow. Not because you saw it there earlier. So, yeah, that, the whole thing. And then, like, oh, he's so scared. Yeah, right. And so you're so scared. Let's just say something happened in the heat of something. So people are like, oh my gosh, what did I do? What did I do? Right? And they're probably going to call somebody. They're not going to sit down and say, okay, well, let me stab this person now multiple times in the heart and in the abdomen. Then let me take them, put a bag over their head, take them into the bathroom, cut them up, put them in garbage bags. Then I'll go out to breakfast like nothing happened with my sister. I'll sit around a fire pit, smoke, and just have like nothing's wrong, go out to dinner, and act totally fine, go back to her parents' house and give them some story that she's jumped out, she's going to take an Uber, and go back and then go into this convenience store. And then, it's just crazy. It is. And then his whole thing where he just wants to pretend he has no recollection of being at the police station or talking with them. It was just a bunch of stupidity. It really was. And really bad. It just I don't know what you guys think about it. I think it was horrendous. He's crazy, Kevin says. Crazy. Yeah, is that what you guys are thinking? Okay, so yeah, I don't think there were any surprises at all. Hey, White Angel. White Angel, I packed up all of your stuff today. And I have to tell you, it's in you want it in one box. And the box is huge. So I'm going to weigh it up tomorrow and let you know on the shipping. Otherwise, it will, that's the only size box it'll fit in. That's it. There's a lot of stuff there. I have lists of it. So we'll get back to you either tomorrow or Sunday with shipping. All right. So then let's see. I want to talk to you about yeah, it was a strange verdict. What I was saying, you could barely hear what they said. The judge was like, "Do you have the verdict?" And then he polled all the jurors and he called them out by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Donner, now no. He called them out by name. Is that your verdict? Is that your verdict? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Let's see what we got here. The jury listened to, it was a 49-minute portion of Ferlazzo's testimony. It included the events of the night leading up to the alleged killing, the event itself, and the following morning. Ferlazzo said he believed Emily Jean was going to shoot him and he acted in self-defense. I was holding my Glock and she started coming up at me and I just fired. After listening to the testimony again, the jury was sent back to continue deliberations, and it took the jury less than 2 hours to reach a guilty consensus. Adrienne Bass, Emily Jean's mother, said she felt relieved hearing the jury reach their verdict. The verdict couldn't be any better. The only thing that could make it better would be to have my daughter back in my arms and alive, she said. Adrienne and Emily's loved ones were present in court on Friday. They were shedding tears and sharing hugs and saying they feel that justice has been served. Adrienne said, and I quote, "For me, it was just relief and feeling like we got the justice that Emily deserves." The prosecutor, Sarah George, said she was not surprised by the jury's decision. She added that Ferlazzo's testimony didn't align with the evidence exactly. And she said, and I quote, "I didn't believe that the jury was buying it. And just, I tried to be watching them throughout the testimony and linking what he was saying to the forensic and physical evidence we'd already presented. And I didn't think it would be enough for them to believe." On Thursday, Sarah George emphasized in her closing arguments that the crime was a premeditated killing and pointed out that Ferlazzo was out of the camper where the shooting happened several minutes before returning. Mr. Ferlazzo sat on the couch thinking, planning for what he told police was 5 to 10 minutes. For at least 5 minutes, Mr. Ferlazzo sat on the couch and stewed. To emphasize her point, Sarah George let a clock run for 5 minutes as the courtroom sat quiet. Meanwhile, defense attorney Margaret Jantz said her client was acting out of self-defense and thought that Emily Jean was going to shoot him. She reminded jurors that there had been a pattern of abuse in the relationship and that Emily had hit Joseph multiple times. Is this ego or someone that's been pushed to the point they can no longer tolerate getting hit? Emily's loved ones, including close friends and family, Lauren and Kathy Eckelberger, said the outcome of the trial will allow them to focus on grieving their tremendous loss. She's still gone. I'm not going to get to have my best friend with me the day I get married, Lauren said. Meanwhile, Kathy said they continue to see signs of Emily Jean every day. We miss the singing, we miss the laughter, but now her, Beth said, all of those who loved her daughter will move forward honoring her legacy. Just to tell her that we did it and that we love you, she said in a message to her daughter, and will always remember you. Ferlazzo is currently facing a minimum of 35 years in prison. The state said they hope an official sentencing will take place in February. So, yeah, he'll be sentenced sometime in February. That's what the judge was saying. Okay, so that's the end of that. Now, this Gypsy Rose book signing. So, for several, I don't know, couple of weeks, there was this big thing. Now, Gypsy Rose was going to the Garden District bookshop, and she was going to do a meet and greet and a signing of her book, and she had tickets. I believe they were $35, and they included a copy of the book, a photo op with her, a signed copy of the book. And it started at 5 o'clock. Well, other creators started to collect money and started to say that they were sending people there and they were helping people there, and there was going to be a peaceful protest, and it was going to be big, and it was going to be for Diddy, and yada, 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 yada. Well, it didn't happen at all the way that anyone had anticipated it would. And in fact, there was a young man who I don't believe was connected in any way, shape, or form with those people, who was the only one that was across the street holding a sign. And money then that was raised, there was like a lot of uproar, because then that was going to be used to send people to dinner or something. It was a mess. Let's just put it that way. So, and it just seems like just the way everything following, Gypsy Rose has this mess on it. But, let me go over here. So now everyone is defending the person that did awful things to another awful person. I don't know. This is just crazy. But wait, let me see where. Okay, let me see here. Trying to see, because there was something in here, and It's gone now. Isn't that interesting? I saw something before on a message board about that guy, and people saying they wanted him to get money and all this stuff for going there. And it's very interesting that it's gone now. Wow. That's interesting. Okay. That's really interesting. Okay. All right, so here's another. All right, so they say that it was a flop of a protest. And this one person said that he was across the street, didn't expect money, just wanted to protest a murderer being able to profit from killing her mother. And that he had the only sign. And he said that he was asked by Lifetime if they could interview him, but he said no because it's Lifetime, the network trying to prop her up. They'd take anything I said and cut it up and try to frame it as hate. He said he came to peacefully stand against making a murderer into some kind of celebrity, and it's funny how they were diligent about not letting them put me on camera. I think Lifetime was so stoked to have content to put on the show to say, look, she is getting bullied. And this person said, I'm not giving them that. I know one of the other protesters did speak. I'm hoping that her interview was good and all. I wasn't on that side of the street, so I don't know what she said. She's a nice lady, though. Let's see. I think they took advantage of her. I'm not sure who she was. Let's see. The ironic part is the lady paid to get the book and go in the thing for the meet and greet, but they let her stand in that line and only interviewed her when she got close to the doors and then denied her entry to the event after the interview, which was uncool. They got her on camera so they can put a person who was anti-Gypsy Rose Blanchard on the show. They were probably jumping for joy about that, but they couldn't let her go into the book signing event she paid for. Kind of uncool, but it's to be expected, especially when Bree kept trotting out to check on things. And yes, Bree was around there. Let's see. That guy. So he did get money, he's saying, for dinner. But was that what the purpose was? Wasn't the money for people's, I don't know. Seems shafty. Let's see. I'm so glad you spoke up. I'm worried you were a paid actor for Lifetime. Paid actor for Lifetime. Someone said, thank you for going. If I could afford to go, and if I wasn't a single mom, I would have been there. I loved your sign. I don't understand why they didn't make signs. That was silly. And Matthew was actually there for the right reasons. He's a local and he had a sign. He wasn't there for clout. He didn't have a phone in his face and no one's giving him any attention. Those three women, money that was donated even though they didn't do shite, give all the money to Matthew. They said they made over $500 so those women could go and have a nice dinner or something for their little efforts. It's really weird to me. This is all coming from a group. For real, if the women had signs like Matthew, it would have actually been something. Yeah, the turnout would have been small, but it would have actually looked like a protest and send a message. The women were just bumbling around and doing everything but actually protesting. They just sat with their backs to the building, streaming, just trash talking, and the only guy who actually showed up and did anything was ignored the whole time. And Lifetime interviewed one of the protesters. You all literally just contributed to Gypsy's show. Only Matthew actually did it for his morals and not for clout. Yes, that salty person, they just went out to NOLA to party, probably got too drunk and forgot about the whole thing. It was uneventful. I only saw one obvious protester, some guy with a sign about Jip Jip being a murderer. Okay. That one should have not talked to Lifetime at all. Did she really think this network working for Gypsy is going to show our side in any kind of a good light? She probably just wanted to be on TV, someone said. True, even if she were articulate and made good points, they would just splice it up, take her words out of context. Someone said, what do we expect to accomplish? This is a bookstore inside of a little mall. You can't get in there to protest if you don't have a ticket. At the very least, those who tried and bought tickets got a refund. Therefore, it's less money for Gyps. Did we expect people to fly in from all over the country to stand on a sidewalk, protest, potentially get arrested for disturbing the peace? I'm sorry, but I'm not flying across the country to protest. Look, it got Lifetime's attention whether you like it or not, or feel the turnout is shite. I feel the turnout of people who wanted their book signed was also not great. The line was cleared in 30 minutes. It should have been better planned, in that people shouldn't have gotten together across the street. All of those people immediately became the enemy and were refused entry. Imagine if you were a legit fan who came in from that direction, said something to someone, and then got told you can't go in. Yet so many people talked a big game and swore they would be there. Someone said, for all we know, there were people who got in there who were protesting and didn't say anything. It sounds like someone did successfully get in. Okay. They did this also wrong. Someone said it was stupid. I don't care. If I was there, I would have gone, but the amount of people who claim that they were going with a purpose and no one showed up is insane. I would have gone in a heartbeat. I don't care, downvote me, but there was just way too much hype for this turnout. That embarrassing. I'm sorry, I'm a little annoyed. I thought people were serious and I'm upset. My thoughts exactly. All that talk and no action. It's what I've been saying for months about these content creators. They're all talk and no action. All these people saying they had a costume and they would dress up. It's like, okay, sure. Very disappointing. Okay, so they had someone small for filming, but they took it. No filming permitted. They can't take your property. Okay. 4 people. I don't know why, but that seems funny to me. Okay, so yeah. Well, so it's either a bunch of crap or what happened, but nothing really happened there at all. With that, let's see what else is in the news. Okay. So she was, like I said, she was on a podcast with one of the teen moms. Said she drank from a baby bottle until she was an adult. Okay, so that's enough on that right there. Let me look at some other stuff that's really cops say the CEO murder suspect fled New York by train, not bus, as originally thought. So some more stuff that they had wrong regarding Luigi Mangione. Police sources now say that the suspected killer of health insurance CEO Brian Thompson slipped out of this city by a train, not a bus, as they first thought. The source says there's video evidence showing Luigi Mangione leaving the George Washington Bridge bus station, where he was dropped off by a taxi not long after the shooting, and he traveled south to Penn Station, where he took a train to Philadelphia. Okay, so he went to Penn Station. The sources did not say how he traveled from the bus station to the train station, which is about a 30-minute subway ride apart. Police had previously said they had no imagery showing him leaving the bus station, either on a bus or otherwise. Pennsylvania investigators say he spent several days on a general route from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh. He was captured on Monday in Altoona, about 240 miles west of Philadelphia, after a McDonald's employee recognized him from the photos released by police and 911, called 911. He arrived in New York 10 days before the shooting on November 24th, taking a bus into the city. That bus originated in Atlanta. It's not sure where the suspect boarded that bus. He was seen on a bus in Washington, D.C. However, Mangione was carrying fake IDs, including one he used to check into the New York hostel where he stayed while he was there. And a ghost gun investigators believe was the murder weapon. They have said that the shell casings found at the scene matched the weapon that Mangione was carrying. They also found writings, one, a handwritten 262-word document that investigators have called a manifesto, in which Mangione says he acted alone and rails against United Healthcare, the largest health insurer in the world, a company he called parasites. A second document is a spiral notebook that includes more details about the planning of the shooting. Police sources say, including one section in which he says he thought about using a bomb, but in the end he decided to target the company's CEO at his own bean counting conference. Thompson was on his way from his hotel to the Hilton, where the company's annual investors conference was to be held, when he was shot. Mangione is being held on weapon charges in Pennsylvania. New York officials have charged him with second-degree murder, but they are also presenting evidence to a grand jury. Mangione is so far fighting extradition to New York, but the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg said Friday there was some indication that he may end that fight sometime next week. And this is so crazy because we saw a press conference with his lawyer who said that this was wrong, that he's not fighting extradition. And he said, and that's just what's wrong. That was his own lawyer saying that. So why the press is still saying that is crazy when his own lawyer said they're not fighting it. It doesn't make a bit of sense. Okay. Go watch the press conference with his lawyer. The first one. Okay. Okay, what happened here? Let's see what this is. Father and son were arrested in connection with the October murder of a woman the father had dated. Wow. Okay. This is crazy. Father and son in Blanchard, Georgia. I'm trying to get a picture here to change the image. Kimberly Guest is the 34-year-old mother. Okay, so back in November, let me open this. Let's take a look at this as we go back a little bit. Back in November, Shirley Lee, a mother from Blanchard, is pleading for justice after her 34-year-old daughter, Kimberly Guest, was shot and killed about 2 weeks ago. And again, this is from the beginning of November, November 3rd, Father's birthday. She said, "I just want justice." Now, there is a father and son who have been arrested, but let's see what they said back then. She said her daughter was killed in Blanchard on the morning of October 17th when she went outside to warm up her car before leaving to perform her duties as a cabinet builder. She spoke with News 4 Jax about what happened and the message she has for the person who pulled the trigger. Okay, so let's see what her message is. I know she says they're a coward. Okay, here we go. "I just want justice. That coward killed my daughter cold-blooded. I want him to come forward. I don't understand why he shot my child like this. I do not understand. I want answers. I want to know why he shot her like this, why he killed her." Her mother said someone was hiding, waiting for her. He was hiding somewhere around the car or by the garage. He came around and shot her 5 times, 3 in the chest, 1 in the side, 1 in the leg. She said that one of Guess's daughters heard the shots and her mother calling for help. Kimberly was Lee's only daughter, and the grieving mother said she couldn't have asked for a better one. She had a heart of gold. She was outstanding. She would do anything for anybody. I saw and talked to her every day. Everybody who knew Kim loved her. Lee said the Blanchard Police Department is leading the investigation. Okay, so now let's take a look at the father and son here. Who were arrested. Okay, father and son duo, Tracy Bryant Sr. and Tracy Bryant Jr., both charged with malice and felony murder. They're behind bars at the Ware County Jail. 34-year-old Kimberly Guest was shot and killed in front of her home in Blanchard on the morning of October 17th. The chief of police, Chris Wright, said the department has worked tirelessly to find the people responsible for Kimberly Guest's murder. Her family said they're happy these men are locked away. However, it does not make spending the holidays without Kimberly any easier. Her oldest brother, Ricky Thornton, said, I thought we'd get a break from the pain, but it didn't help. We're happy to have them off the street and to not hurt anyone else. This is the first murder in this town in 5 years. Officers say both men were taken into custody after a search warrant during the murder investigation led to the discovery of illegal drugs. Kimberly's mother said the family always suspected that it was Tracy Bryant Sr. who killed Kimberly, but they were stunned to learn police said his son was also involved. This is just terrible. I hope they get what's coming to them. I want the death penalty. He shot my daughter cold-blooded and he planned it, said Shirley Lee, Kimberly's mother. Tracy Bryant Sr. was Kimberly's former supervisor at Clayton Homes in Waycross. Shirley Lee said Kimberly told her that Tracy had been stalking her for weeks before police say he shot her on October 17th. She told him that Tuesday before she died that she wanted him to leave her alone and stop stalking her. He didn't understand that. And then that Thursday morning happened. The Blackshear Police Department confirms the two started dating and then broke up during their time working together at Clayton Homes. Now, police documents describe how Tracy Bryant Sr. shot Kimberly several times, and it was his son who drove him to her home to carry out the crimes. Our family didn't back down. I wasn't going to back down. Me and my sons were going to get justice one way or the other, said Lee. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, let me see. Okay, now we have here, what is this? So a Florida woman was arrested on charges of making terroristic threats after she ended a call with her insurance company with the words delay, deny, depose. Oh, wow. Okay. So the affidavit says that Brianna Boston, a 42-year-old mother of 3, called Blue Cross Blue Shield after they reportedly denied claims. Here's her picture. I'm trying to get her picture. Hang on a moment. Okay, this is her picture. So, it says, near the end of the call, investigators say, She used the words delay, deny, depose, and said, and those are the first three words, similar to those written on the ammunition that the gunman used in the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in New York City last week. The affidavit noted the similarities between the incidents, stating that those words have become nationally recognized as a phrase directed against insurance companies. She's been in this world long enough that she certainly should know better, that you can't make threats like that in the current environment that we live in and think that we're not going to follow up and put you in jail. Police made contact with Boston at her home in Lakeland, where she reportedly admitted to using those words during the call, telling detectives that healthcare companies played games and deserved karma from the world because they are evil. She reportedly told detectives that she used the phrase because it's what's in the news right now, and that she learned the phrase due to the United Healthcare homicide. However, Boston added that she does not own any firearms and she was not a danger to anyone. She readily admitted that, yeah, that's exactly what I said, but I didn't mean anything by it, Chief Teller said. Well, you don't get to pull that back after you say it. Based on her statements, investigators say they believe she meant to threaten the insurance company by using United Healthcare CEO homicide to take to her advantage. She was charged with threats to conduct a mass shooting or an act of terrorism. My client is a 42, married mother of 3. She's never had any criminal charges or convictions. May you release her on her own recognizance, her attorney Jim Headley said to a judge during the court appearance. However, the judge set her bond at $100,000, stating, I do find that the bond of $100,000 is appropriate considering the status of our country at this point. And near the end of the call, okay, here's delay, deny, depose. You people are next. That's what she said. So, yeah, it's, how old did they say she is? 42. Forty-two. 42. 42. Then there's another suitcase case. It's in Montana this time. Let me just get a graphic up here so we know we're on something different. My memory is supposed to come today, but it's not coming till, I think Jimmy said Monday or something. I have to wait for this too. I just don't want to do this story with someone else on the screen. Okay. Get that down. Get that down. Okay. Let me try to get the other graphic up here. Bear with me and the memory. There you hear the life support sound. Okay, sorry now. 2 more cases I want to cover here, okay. Just trying to get the graphic. I don't know what is the problem with this. It's so crazy. Okay, so here we go. Get this picture up. Come on, here we go. Okay, here's the graphic. I am so sorry. Thank you for patience. All right, so there's the landfill there, and so Alicia Wood of Conrad was reported missing November 30th when the reporting party said that she had last been seen on November 22nd. Later that day, a man's been charged with deliberate homicide and tampering with evidence in connection with the disappearance of the 46-year-old woman, Alicia Wood of Conrad. She was reported missing November 30th. Reporting party saying she had not been seen since November 22nd on the charge of deliberate homicide. The court documents state that on or about November 22nd, throughout November 26th, William Glenn Olson purposely or knowingly caused the death of Alicia Lindsay Wood. On the charge of tampering with evidence, court documents state that knowing an investigation was underway, Olson placed Alicia's body in a suitcase and disposed of it in a dumpster. When Olson was initially questioned on December 2nd about the disappearance of Alicia, he told investigators that he had last seen her on November 10th and he didn't know where she was now. He said that he did not want to answer any more questions until he talked with his attorney. On December 3rd, investigators learned that Olson had several arrest warrants, including a felony warrant for violation of conditions of release related to a partner family member assault. Later that day, Olson was taken into custody based on the outstanding warrants and then taken to the Pondera County Sheriff's Office for questioning. The court documents state that Olson told investigators that he and Alicia had been fighting at her residence in Conrad, and he admitted that he strangled Alicia by placing her in a headlock. He then put her body in a hard-sided suitcase. He then put that suitcase in the trunk of Alicia's car and drove to Great Falls, where he placed the suitcase into a dumpster. Olson later told investigators that the dumpster was along the 900 block of 6th Alley Northwest. A sanitation supervisor for the city of Great Falls confirmed that a city-owned garbage truck collected the contents of the dumpster on November 27th, and the contents was offloaded at the High Plains landfill, which is several miles northeast of Great Falls. That information led to a massive search effort that began on December 4th at the landfill and continues a week later with scores of people sifting through tons of waste. As of the morning of December 12th, Alicia's body has not been recovered. Wow. there's one more I want to talk about, which is a Western New York man who showed up at a sheriff's office with his dead dad and an attorney. Okay, this man right here. And we're looking at Livingston County, New York. Geneseo, New York. New details have come to light about a convicted felon charged with murdering his father, whose body he reportedly turned in Monday night to the Livingston County Sheriff's Office. Richard Flugel Jr., 30 years old, of Rochester, is now facing murder, weapon and evidence tampering charges for the death of his father, 60-year-old Richard Flugel Sr. Flugel was arraigned and pled not guilty Tuesday evening. My name is so familiar. Livingston County Sheriff Thomas Dougherty said that Flugel Sr. left Sunday afternoon and never returned. His vehicle was found Monday night in the parking lot of Tops, that's a grocery store, in Dansville. Dougherty said the homicide scene is believed to be on Bonner Road in Ossian, where Flugel Jr. was trying to start a marijuana operation through the state. You have two scenes here. You have the scene, the original scene, pulling in the parking lot, deceased body in the car. That's a scene, Dougherty said. We believe that the actual crime scene is Bonner Road, and so that's why the charge for the murder and the weapons charges is in Ossian. The tampering is here in Geneseo. Dougherty said a search warrant was executed on the Bonner Road property Tuesday afternoon. According to the felony complaint obtained, Flugel Jr. is accused of shooting the victim twice with a 12-gauge shotgun, causing his death. Deputies say a weapon was recovered in court papers, and it is also alleged he wrapped his father in a tarp, concealed his body inside his 2018 Audi. Dougherty said Flugel Jr. was in the parking lot of the sheriff's office to turn in his father's body. He was not the one who called the 911 center. We have the suspect in the car with his deceased father, and in a separate car is his defense attorney, who is Brian DeCarolis. So the call actually was made by the defense to say, we're out in the parking lot with a deceased body. Dougherty said the attorney is not under investigation. DeCarolis said that he received a phone call from Flugel Jr. Monday night late, explaining that he had a body in his car and recognized that he needed some counsel. DeCarolis said he was not representing Flugel before that night. Flugel is being held at the Livingston County Jail without bail. Dougherty said he has 2 prior felony convictions and is due back in court Monday. Okay. That's what I wanted to tell you. I'm trying to get back to the chat real quick here. Okay, there we go. So many unaliving in this world, yeah. Yeah, who knows why he did it, right? I don't know. Hey, little lady. Hi, Gretchen Blue. How are you? They think the reason possible so they can search for a good New York City lawyer. Well, Gretchen, if you watch the video with his attorney, okay, you need to watch the press conference with his attorney. His attorney says he's not fighting, and he says that's not true. I'm just reporting what his attorney is saying, because that is exactly what his attorney said. Have to kill instead of talk. Yeah, they don't do any, little lady. It's like, I don't know. It's craziness. Okay. Yeah, let me call your attention. You know, we do have the legal fund. Our next court date is January 9th. So the legal fund is something that, yeah, we really would be very appreciative if you would consider either donating or sharing it out, both, etc. That's very helpful in everything that's going on. Okay, let me see what else is going on here. We also have wristbands that are $5 that help support the legal fund as well. Memberships are also great to help support the channel. Super chats are always appreciated. PayPal's also appreciated as well. All of that. Okay, let me go here. I'm just going to look up some other stuff here. I wanted to see it. There's oh, come on, Mr. Mouse, Mr. Mouse, Mr. Mouse. What's up with you, Mr. Mouse? Now you can. All right, hang on a minute. So, how's everybody doing? There goes the life support sound. Oh, brother. All right, we'll just wait a second and hopefully that it will churn out. In the meantime, I'll just pop up and a couple of things away that need to be put away. Some lights that need to be shut. And take this, oh my goodness, there go my shelf. Shut the little Christmas tree, hang up the little stocking that I made, my little metal stocking. And let me hang that back where that belongs, and hopefully in a second the life support will be gone, and I can do something. mouse doesn't want to work now. Okay. Now this is somebody brought this up during the craft live, that let me put this over here. Crystal Mangum has admitted she made up the R allegations against the 3 men at Duke University lacrosse players. Now, I knew that this was not new, because there was already a book, I think a documentary on this. It says, let me see if I can get this graphic up. The assault charges, the essay is from 2006. So it is that case. And here, I'm going to get the graphic up here. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to make this a little larger. Okay. Oh my goodness gracious, what is going on here? It's Friday the 13th over? Yes, it is. Mercury in retrograde by any chance? I'm going to blame it on the drones. Can I do that? The drones! It's the drones! Okay. After a woman's admission that she fabricated are allegations against 3 Duke University lacrosse players in 2006, the author of the best-selling book on the case recounted an interview with one of the falsely accused men who worried that he'd wear a scarlet letter for the rest of his life. See, this is old. I don't know. Why are they bringing this out again? I wonder why this is out in the news again. Tell me why. Magnum, who's 46, accused the 3 of R-ing her at a party where she said she was hired to perform a striptease in March of 2006. She would later be convicted and imprisoned in the murder of her boyfriend Reginald Day. She's eligible to be released from prison in 2026. Despite concerns over her credibility as an accuser, the local district attorney, Mike Nafong, charged the 3 men with R. The charges were later dismissed, and Nafong was disbarred. Taylor Swift just bought a new mansion with Travis Kelce. That's interesting. I don't know. I don't know if it's her release that's trending or something's trending that is making that trend, because there's nothing new that I can see in it. I'm trying to open up the browser again. I'm trying to open up the browser again, and I'm really stressed. Really stressed. Okay, finally it opened again. Let me open up YouTube again. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. For staying and keeping on with us, even though we're having so many instances of technical difficulties that you probably hate us. Hate me. All right. Here we're back on, let me go back to where I was, because I was trying to talk about something and I don't even remember what it was now. It wasn't that. For sure, for sure. I wanted to see. Okay, let me see here if this is going to even work. Okay, that I'll have to worry about that later on, because that's not going to work. Okay, so let's look at this. This is one I haven't heard. The ex-wife of a Los Angeles doctor has been arrested over his alleged ambush-style murder alongside 4 other suspects. On Thursday, December 12th, LAPD shared a release that its officers arrested Hmmmmmm. I know that I've just butchered that, okay? 53 years old. And I'm going to pull up this news release. Over here from the LAPD. And I'm going to try to increase the size. Here we go. It says on August 23rd, 2024 at 5:34 p.m., Dr. Hamid Mirshojah left his family medicine clinic for the night. The clinic was located on the 5900 block of Topanga Canyon Boulevard. Dr. M walked to his vehicle in the parking lot, and as he approached the driver's side of his vehicle, a masked man emerged from hiding around the corner of the clinic and ran toward him. From a close distance, the suspect fired at the doctor in an ambush-style attack and then immediately fled back toward the rear of the clinic, away from the scene. At 6:12 p.m., Los Angeles Police Department Topanga Division patrol officers responded to an ambulance shooting radio call on the 5900 block of Topanga Canyon Boulevard. Upon their arrival, the officers located a single male victim in the parking lot with a gunshot wound. The Los Angeles Fire Department responded. They pronounced Dr. M deceased at the scene. The Los Angeles Police Department Operations Valley Bureau homicide detectives assumed investigation responsibility over the case with the assistance of LAPD Topanga Area Gang and Narcotics Division, Major Crimes Division, Commercial Crimes Division, the Federal Bureau of Investigation field offices in Los Angeles and Houston, the United States Postal Inspection Service, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office, the Joint Regional Intelligence Center, and the Harris County Sheriff's Department in Texas, and the Houston Police Department in Texas. Operations Valley Bureau homicide detectives were able to locate and apprehend those responsible for the murder of Dr. M. The Los Angeles Police Department's Operations Valley Bureau homicide detectives have arrested 5 individuals in connection with the August 23rd, 2024 shooting of Dr. Hamid. The investigation revealed that these 5 persons conspired to commit murder, culminating in the ambush and the subsequent demise of Dr. M. It should be noted that the investigation remains ongoing, including determining the relationship some of the involved may have shared with the victim. At the time of this release, 3 of the suspects have received formal charges from the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. And those are Evan Hardman, a 41-year-old from Tomball, Texas. Tomball, Texas. That's where that murder, that garage sale murder is out. That's out of Tomball, Texas. Evan Hardman was taken into custody in Texas on December 10th and will be transferred into LAPD custody. Hardman was charged with 187 of the California Penal Code, murder with special circumstances. Ashley Rose Sweeting, 40-year-old female from Reseda, California, was also taken into custody on December 10, 2024. Sweeting was charged with 32 of the California Penal Code, accessory to murder. Sarah La Jawad, 26-year-old male from Canoga Park, California, was taken into custody on December 11th. Jawad was charged with 187 of the California Penal Code, murder with special circumstances. Sean Randolph, 46-year-old male from Valley Village, California, was taken into custody December 12th. Randolph was booked for 187 of the California Penal Code, murder. Ahang, same last name as the doctor, a 53-year-old female from Calabasas, California, was also taken into custody on December 12th. Ahang was booked on 187 of the California Penal Code, murder. Both Randolph, here, Sean Randolph, and Ahang are being held without bail. The case against Randolph and Ahang will be presented for filing consideration to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office on Monday, December 16th. This is an ongoing investigation. Anyone with information is asked to contact Operations Valley Homicide at 818-374-9550. Okay, so let's go back to the So, let me see. So I guess his wife initiated this. Interesting. Okay, let's look at this now. Oh, there's my night time. Got a couple more that I want to go over here. So this is pretty sad. An unnamed couple is accused of shaving their son's head and eyebrows, putting him in a wheelchair, and claiming he had cancer to collect money. They're in Australia. They have been accused of faking their son's cancer diagnosis. It will be alleged that the accused shaved their 6-year-old child's head, his eyebrows, and they placed him in a wheelchair with bandages on his head in order to imitate stereotactic radiotherapy treatment. South Australia's Police Acting Assistant Commissioner John DeCandia said in a news conference on Friday the 13th, "I couldn't think of a more devious and cruel scheme that these parents have done to their own child." Let's see here, what else do we have here? The woman and the man are both 44 years old, and they appeared at the Port Adelaide Magistrates Court, where they were each charged with one aggravated count of committing an act likely to cause harm, which carries a maximum sentence of 7 years in jail. Separate attorneys for the accused, who haven't been named by the police, say they would be denying the charge. The news came after John DeCandia held a news conference earlier on Friday confirming 2 people had been arrested by the Western District Criminal Investigation Branch on Thursday, December 12th for criminal neglect and deception, and that bail had been refused. Per DeCandia, it's been alleged that the couple caused psychological harm to their child by falsely purporting a cancer diagnosis. Well, the officer alleged the couple had been requesting monetary donations through a GoFundMe page and word of mouth to fund their 6-year-old son's medical treatment. DeCandia told reporters it's believed they managed to raise about 60,000 Australian dollars or $38,200 in US dollars in a short period of time. It will be alleged that the accused shaved their 6-year-old child's head, eyebrows, and placed him in a wheelchair with bandages in order to imitate his treatment that he was undergoing. We believe this farce illness is causing serious and significant psychological harm to the child and their sibling. DeCandia said that he believed the boy's sibling is a girl in the 6 to 12 age bracket and said that the children have been removed from the custody of the parents, with a nominated relative caring for them at the moment. He also stated the incident had been reported to the police on November 26 and that the Western District Child and Family Investigations Section had been working with the Department of Child Protection, the Child's School, and Child Protection Services amid the ongoing case. I couldn't think of a more devious and cruel scheme. It's abhorrent that people would seek to profit for their own personal need, greed, and selfishness from such an insidious condition such as cancer that impacts so many families in our community. He said there will be ongoing support that will be needed for the child because initially thinking you've got cancer and you're not well would be quite devastating. It takes away from those in genuine need. It's disgusting that these types of cases may have an impact on people that genuinely need assistance. During the couple's court appearance on Friday, the magistrate, Alison Adair, said she's open to considering another bail application in early 2025 and ordered a home detention report for the mother, who is expected to return to court January 6th. Father also remains in custody, and Adair adjourned his case until December 20th. The Director of Public Prosecutions has decided not to proceed with the offense of criminal neglect, which police have previously mentioned. Okay, and then we've got Will Smith and P. Diddy. Will Smith made rare comments about Sean Diddy Combs while on stage, denying any connection to the music mogul's alleged crimes. Will Smith released a new song called Tantrum and performed it at the Observatory North Park Theater in San Diego on Thursday, December 12th. Smith addressed the crowd between songs, speaking about memes, linking him to Sean Puffy Combs. And he said, and I quote, "The world we're in right now, it's really hard for y'all to discern what's real and what's true, you know? I've been seeing y'all's memes and stuff. Some of that stuff funny. I haven't addressed any of this publicly, but I just want to say this very clearly. I don't have shite to do with Puffy. So y'all can stop all them memes. You can stop all of that bullshit. I ain't been nowhere near that man. Ain't done none of that stupid shite," said Will Smith, 56 years old, who's been previously photographed with Sean Combs at industry events over the years. "So whenever y'all hear of it, if somebody say that, it's a damn lie." Sean Combs is 55. He's in federal custody in New York City in Brooklyn. And he has an indictment on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He's alleged to have used coercion to make women participate in so-called freak-offs. You know that, right? In a recent video, Smith made a joke on stage while denying any connection to Combs, says, "I don't even like baby oil." He then added, "But no, having said that publicly, y'all, the first time, I usually don't respond to dumb R stuff because it's so many things. People say so much stuff. But that one, your memes was doing too much. Y'all was having me mad." Do you think he doth protest too much? I don't know. Jamie Foxx is another celebrity who recently cleared up online conspiracies attempting to connect him to Combs. In his Netflix special that debuted December 10th, Jamie Foxx, what had happened was, Foxx said, "I left them parties out early. I was out by 9. Something don't look right. It's slippery in here." Okay. Billy Davis told police there was one less enemy after she repeatedly stabbed an Indiana University student at Bloomington on a bus. This was an Asian student. She stabbed him in the head multiple times. She has been sentenced to 6 years in prison for the hate crime. Billy Davis is 57 of Bloomington, Indiana. She'll spend 6 years in federal prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. An Indiana University at Bloomington student of Chinese descent was riding a Bloomington transit bus on January 11th of 2023 when Davis boarded and sat behind her. The student, identified only as ZF, stood up a few stops later once the bus arrived near campus, and that's when Davis reached for a folding knife from inside her pocket and stabbed ZF in the head approximately 7 to 10 times. ZF ran away, but other passengers confronted Davis as the 57-year-old sat back down on the bus, and Davis was later arrested by Bloomington police, referring to the victim as some Asian effing see you next Tuesday. The woman also claimed that since she committed the crime, there was one less enemy. ZF's injuries included multiple stab wounds and cuts. And the college student required medical attention, which resulted in sutures and staples. Racially motivated violence has no place in our society, said Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark of the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division. Clark said Davis targeted CF, who was simply riding a public bus to school solely because she was Chinese. The sentence imposed for these vicious hate crimes should send a strong message that perpetrators of hate-fueled violence will be accountable. The Attorney General added of Davis's sentence, the Justice Department is steadfast in its commitment to investigating and prosecuting hate crimes wherever they occur in our country. U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Indiana, Zachary A. Myers, added, every person deserves to feel safe in their own community, and no one should be made to fear violence on the way to school simply because of who they are. Myers said the Department of Justice has prioritized prosecution of hate crimes and community outreach through the United Against Hate initiative and promised he is working hard to make the community safer for all. Davis has remained in jail since the attack. Okay. I feel like I know this. This woman looks very familiar to me. Shamra Felc, 49 years old, was last seen September in Hartsville, South Carolina. Authorities in South Carolina have arrested a man after finding the remains of a woman buried by a well last week. Shamra Felc, 49, was found dead in Hartsville, South Carolina on December 4th. That was confirmed by the Darlington County Coroner J. Todd Hardy. Authorities arrested Daniel Peel on Monday, December 9th in connection with her death and charged him with murder. According to an October statement from the police, Felc was last seen on September 25th in the Hartsville area. She was reported missing by her family and friends on October 7th. Her remains were found buried beside an old, inoperable well. Her body had been placed in a hollowed-out area beside the well. She'd been buried for quite some time, adding that her remains had been decomposed when they were found. In an online obituary, she is remembered for being independent and sassy and for her love of the outdoors, animals, and jewelry. In a Facebook post, her daughter, Carly, wrote, "She is living in a nightmare. This has got to be the most traumatic thing me and my siblings have experienced, and there are just some things people cannot come back from," she wrote, alongside a link to the obituary from Shamra. "I will miss you for the rest of my life, Mom. I hope it is so beautiful up there." Peel has been charged with murder, kidnapping, and obstruction of justice. He is being held without bond. It wasn't immediately clear if he has entered a plea or retained an attorney to speak on his behalf. And then this is, where did this occur? An 80-year-old military veteran beaten to death by a former teacher in a parking dispute. Didn't I just say this to Al about parking disputes? Right? Earl Hollins was killed during a dispute with Anthony Ray Boyce on Friday. A former teacher in Texas is facing a murder charge after he allegedly beat an elderly military veteran to death over a parking spot dispute. Earl Hollins, 80, suffered a head injury during the altercation outside of a grocery store in Houston on Friday, December 6th. Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez said this in a statement and announced that they had identified 57-year-old Anthony Ray Boyce as the suspect in Hollins' attack. Hollins' family said that they took him off life support on Saturday. An arrest warrant for Boyce reviewed alleges his attack on Hollins on December 6th resulted in the victim's death. Boyce allegedly struck Hollins during a dispute over a parking spot. Investigators allege in the court document that Hollins suffered a brain bleed as a result and died days later. While police initially thought the altercation was a robbery gone wrong, Gonzalez later said in a statement that Boyce and Hollins knew each other. The nature of their relationship was not immediately clear. Hollins is being remembered by his family members as a fun-loving father and grandfather who was often the most interesting person in the room. His niece, Elma Hollins Washington, said that he was a direct, honest person and was one of a kind. I mean, to know him, you had to love him. Hollins' son said that he was a single father who was always laughing and joking around. Boyce, a former teacher with the school district in Cypress, Texas. He was a substitute teacher. The school district confirmed the district did not immediately respond for any comment. His bond has been set at $200,000. No information about a plea was available. Wow. It's crazy. Just don't get it. Okay, I'd say that's it's almost going to be a wrap here, but okay, Ariana Grande. I think, you know what? I think it's time for word cookies. Over a parking place, yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, brother. Wait, why did you mention? Oh, I was just looking about. They said something about Ariana Grande. She had to go call her therapist after filming some scene for Glinda. Give me a break. I don't know. I didn't watch the movie, but okay, maybe she has a reason to call the therapist. I don't know. Whatever. She's lucky she has a therapist to call, right? That's good. We should be happy that she's seeing the therapist. Maybe she won't resort to some of the stuff these other people are resorting to. Right? Right. Good night, little lady. Good night, little lady. Good night, little lady. Oh, Margot's out of the woodwork. Hello, Margot. Thank you for coming back in out of the woodwork. Anon, anon. Anon, anon. Anon, anon, anon. Anon. That's it. That's all I can do tonight. I am tired and I'm going to bed. Good night, everybody. Have a great night. See you later. Bye. Love you. God bless. Thank you for everything. Bye.